For most Canadians, Costa Rica is more likely thought of as a travel destination than a trade partner. It's something that newly elected President Guillermo Solís wants to change. Costa Rica is home to 4.8 million people in an area about the size of Nova Scotia. The IMF estimates the size of its economy at $53 billion per year, or $10,000 per capita. Tiny compared to Canada, but typical of Central America. About 10,000 Canadians call Costa Rica home, and 150,000 travel there every year. It isn't just tourism for us there. There is also trade, more than $700 million worth of bilateral trade a year, thanks in part to a free trade deal signed in 2002. President Solís was elected President of Costa Rica earlier this year, garnering more than 3/4 of the popular vote. One of his main stated goals, to drive business and investment in the country beyond tourism and bananas. While Procter & Gamble and IBM have a home there, Intel and Bank of America recently announced layoffs and closures. That's a trend Solís says he wants to reverse. President Solís has been called a traveling salesman as he tries to sell his country to investors. That role recently brought him to Toronto, where I asked him how he's pitching his country.
Well, Costa Rica is a wonderful place. I mean, it's a wonderful place from an environmental point of view. It's a very distinct place in terms of its history, like a country that abolished its army in 1949 by constitutional mandate is significantly different from other places. But it has also been a country where education has been a grave national concern for 150 years. So we have a tremendously good accumulated talent, human talent, that can be used by high-tech companies. I think if I was to mention one significant thing that I think makes Costa Rica a good destination for foreign direct investment would be the talent of its people.
You have had an investment by Intel, a sizable one, and it accounted for a sizable portion of your exports for a period of time in that sector. They've decreased the size of their footprint there. What does that mean for you? I know that probably leaves you with a workforce ready to be deployed elsewhere.
Yeah, it was redeployed very easily, but Intel also decided to change the nature of their investment. They took a part only of their manufacturing activities in Costa Rica and brought in new, highly developed technology in research and development facilities. This is an important thing. We now have a mega lab of Intel in San Jose that's going to be used to prove the company's markets. And so what we've seen is a qualitative change in Intel's investments, which I think, as it was the case 20 years ago when they first came to Costa Rica, will change the ecosystem of the country, proving to the world that Costa Rica is a place where other venues can be installed with more technology involved.
So when you talk to businesses, is it high tech that you're particularly interested in, or would you be interested in a broad range of?
No, we have to strive for a broad range of activities. I mean, the country needs all sorts of economic venues. We obviously want to continue developing the skills of our labor force into high tech. This implies, for example, medical supplies and medical activities in general. But we also are looking at manufacturing. Gildan, for example, a very important textile firm, has decided to initiate very soon activities in Costa Rica. So we're looking at a whole array of productive activities, which I think is the right way to go.
One of the questions some might have for you is the fiscal situation. Moody's recently raising issues about just how quickly you can consolidate. Give us a sense of what the plan is. I know you're striving for a balance and you're not rushing to reduce debt. What's the balance?
Well, actually, we're very concerned about the deficit. We said that we were going to do much better in investing of public monies, that we were going to tap on inefficiencies, and that we were going to do an effort to collect our current taxes better. In fact, we're going to decrease our deficit simply because of the measures we have taken in the last 5 months, but we have to move on into a fiscal reform. And we will do so by sending to Congress a bill probably before the end of the year to be discussed in Congress in early 2015, changing the added value tax or implementing an added value tax over the sales tax, which we currently have, and also making reforms to other taxes, because we need more income. This is for sure. But yes, we are concerned, and I think we will be able to decrease our deficit by around 1% every year to a level where the international financial organizations are comfortable with, which is around half of what we have now.
Canadians, of course, many will think of Costa Rica and think of a beautiful destination for our holidays. How important is tourism to your economy?
Oh, it's very important. Actually, just a few years ago, it was the major source of income for the country. It decreased a bit after the 2008 crisis, but it is picking up again. And Costa Rica is offering a wide array of tourist activities, from looking at whales to extreme sports, to beach, to cultural tourism, medical tourism. So yes, it continues to be an important activity for us, and my administration is supportive of tourism in general.
One of the themes in the world is that post-credit crisis, we haven't seen growth return, the really rapid growth rate that we've seen. Which are the countries that you're most dependent on to really grow strongly? For Canada, it's of course America. Are there big players that you look to really hope they revive?
Yes, well, definitely the United States and Europe. These are two significant clients for Costa Rica. Nevertheless, we are one of few countries in Latin America that will grow very significantly next year. Costa Rica is expected to grow at a rate of 4.7%. which is pretty significant considering Brazil, for example, has decreased its growth rate lately. So, but it would improve, our economy would improve a lot if the economy of the United States would pick up again. Around 40+% of our imports and exports come and go to the United States.
What kind of relationship does Canada have with Costa Rica in terms of where we could grow our trading relationship?
Oh, it is there to grow, undoubtedly. Canada and Costa Rica signed a free trade agreement, one of the first we ever signed back in the 90s. And I think we have not only to update that treaty, but also take advantage of it. And we are talking here of clean energies, for example. We're talking of infrastructures for our ports. We're talking of possibilities in high-tech activities in general. So I find that the future is probably likely to be very bright for both countries because we share a lot of values in terms of our international perspectives. Costa Rica is a country that has been defending human rights and peace throughout the world. This is also the way Canada sees international relations. We are very much committed to the preservation of the environment. And there is a warm relationship between Canada and Costa Rica. In fact, the largest amount of tourists that come to Costa Rica come from Canada.
All right, we'll leave it there. We appreciate your time today.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.